Mr. President.
Democrat Whip.
Mr. President, earlier in this session, we observed a moment of silence to exhibit our solidarity with the people of France. I want to add my voice to others here today in sharing my deepest condolences and solidarity with the people of that great nation. As a result of the barbaric violence that occurred over the weekend, we are finding this solidarity coming together from across the world, standing behind the people of France in their hour of need. These events that occurred in Paris were heartbreaking and infuriating. America knows well from the tragic events of September 11th, this kind of savagery is a challenge to the civilized world, one which we must collectively stand and defeat. As French President Hollande said to a joint session of the French Parliament, when France is attacked in such a manner, the whole world is attacked. I agree. People of Russia are also victims of such violence in the recent downing of their airplane departing Egypt, another tragedy which ISIS has claimed credit for. The people of Lebanon and Turkey have suffered horrific bombings in their capitals in the last few weeks from the same terrorist groups. And the brave reformers in Tunisia, one of the few countries to emerge from the Arab Spring with an inclusive and inspiring democracy, have faced similar violence against innocent people at their museums and tourist destinations. The perpetrator of all of these monstrous acts is ISIS, which has filled the void created by the wars in Iraq, Syria, and the broader political chaos of the Arab Spring. These murderous henchmen have conducted the most heinous of acts: beheadings, mass rape, torture, and the murder of innocents, in a sick attempt to intimidate the civilized world and to feed their own warped ideology. I have supported President Obama's leadership in organizing a global coalition to defeat ISIS, and I applaud Secretary Kerry for his efforts to negotiate an end to the Syrian civil war. But we must do more. When France is attacked and President Hollande reaches out to his allies, he is reaching out to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, of which the United States is a member. He should reach out as well, and we all should reach out to Russia, which, as I mentioned earlier, has been victimized by this terrorist group in the downing of that aircraft. And then reach out to Saudis and Muslim leaders around the world. Join us in a coalition to destroy ISIS, first in their occupied territory in Syria and Iraq, and then in their murderous web of recruitment and hate around the world. Mr. President, several people have reacted to the tragedy in France and the United States by calling for us to suspend refugees coming to this country. Many of these people have not reflected on the refugee situation in our country. Each year, the United States of America accepts about 70,000 refugees from around the world. These refugees are each carefully investigated, reviewed, and vetted. That process takes anywhere from 18 to 24 months before a refugee from any part of the world is allowed to enter the United States. We do everything humanly possible and take extraordinary efforts to make certain that dangerous people do not arrive on our shores. That vetting process must continue, and when it comes to suspicious circumstances, must be doubled in its intensity to make certain that our nation is safe. But for those who are focusing on that as the answer to what happened in Paris, they're very short-sighted. 1 out of 4 of the refugees coming to the United States in the last fiscal year came not from the Middle East, but from Burma. In addition to that, we find many refugees coming to the United States from Iraq. It turns out that over 3,000 refugees came from Iran. In each and every instance, we should apply the standard of strict vetting and the highest standards of investigation. I certainly stand by that. But those who say we should turn away refugees in the United States have forgotten the lesson of history.